It was a cold winter evening in Boston, USA. Snow was falling softly. The city lights looked like stars on the streets. Aisha, a 26-year-old Indian nurse, was walking home after a long day at the hospital. She worked in the emergency ward of St. Mary's Hospital, one of the busiest hospitals in the city. Her shift was over, but her heart was still heavy. That day, a young boy had come in after a car accident. She tried her best to save him, but he didn't make it. Aisha sat on a bench outside the hospital, feeling tired and sad. She whispered to herself, "I need a doctor, not for my body, but for my heart." Little did she know that soon she would meet one. The next morning, Aisha walked into the hospital as usual. The halls were busy, the smell of coffee and disinfectant mixed in the air. As she was checking the patient files, she heard a deep voice behind her. "Excuse me, are you Nurse Aisha Khan?" She turned. A tall man stood there, wearing a white coat. His hair was slightly messy, his eyes calm and kind. "Yes, that's me," she said. He smiled. "I'm Dr. Ryan Cooper, the new senior doctor in emergency care. I'll be working with your team." Aisha nodded politely. "Welcome, Dr. Cooper. You'll soon learn that our ward never sleeps." He laughed softly. "Good. I don't sleep much either." From that day, they started working together. Ryan was not only smart, but also kind. He treated every patient with patience and respect. Aisha noticed how he spoke softly to scared children and how he comforted worried families. They became a good team. When Aisha was stressed, Ryan would say, "Take a breath, Nurse Khan. The world can wait for a minute." And she would smile, something she had forgotten how to do. One evening, after a long shift, the snow started again. Ryan offered her a ride home. "Thanks, but it's okay," Aisha said shyly. He insisted. "Boston streets are crazy in this weather. Come on." The drive, they talked about their lives. Ryan had grown up in California, but moved to Boston for work. He had lost his mother a few years ago, and since then, he dedicated his life to helping others. Aisha told him she had come from India 3 years ago, chasing her dream to be a nurse. Ryan smiled. "So both of us are trying to fix the world, one patient at a time." They laughed. It was a warm moment in the cold night. From then on, they started having coffee breaks together. Sometimes they talked about work, sometimes about books or food. Ryan loved donuts. Aisha preferred samosas. They often joked that their friendship was like coffee, simple but strong. As days turned into weeks, Aisha realized that her heart felt lighter. She laughed more, worked harder, and even started painting again, something she hadn't done in years. Ryan, too, felt something new. He had been alone for a long time, hiding behind his work. But Aisha's kindness touched him deeply. One night, after a long emergency shift, Aisha was sitting quietly in the staff room, looking tired. Ryan brought her a cup of coffee. "You look like you fought 10 battles today," he said gently. She smiled, Feels like it. He sat beside her. You're strong, you know? You care too much, and that's rare. She looked at him. Their eyes met, and for a few seconds, the busy hospital noise faded away. It was just the two of them. She whispered, "Sometimes caring hurts." Ryan said softly, "Then let me be the doctor for that pain." Aisha felt her heart skip a beat. She didn't answer, but her smile said everything. One snowy night, a big accident happened on the highway. Many injured people were brought to the hospital. Aisha and Ryan worked side by side for hours. At 4 a.m., when the last patient was finally stable, Aisha almost fainted from exhaustion. Ryan caught her before she fell. "Hey, careful," he said, holding her gently. "I'm fine," she whispered. "You're not," he said, looking into her tired eyes. "You always take care of everyone. Let someone take care of you for once." Aisha looked at him, his worried face, his kind eyes, and felt something warm in her chest. Maybe, for the first time, she didn't want to be strong. He took her to the staff lounge, covered her with a blanket, and sat nearby until she fell asleep. That night, he realized he didn't just admire her, he loved her. Days passed. Both of them knew something had changed, but neither spoke. They were afraid to lose their friendship. Then, one weekend, Ryan invited her to a small cafe by the river. It was snowing again. "I love this place," he said. "It's quiet, like peace in a noisy world." Aisha smiled. "Yes, we need that sometimes." Ryan took a deep breath. "Aisha, I don't know how to say this, but you've changed my life. Before you, I only lived for work. You reminded me what warmth feels like." She looked at him, surprised. He continued, "I know you've been through pain, but I want to be there, not as your doctor, but as your person." For a moment, Isha was silent. Snowflakes fell softly around them. Her eyes filled with tears, not of sadness, but of relief. She whispered, "All this time, I kept healing others. I forgot that I also needed healing. Maybe I needed you." Ryan smiled and gently took her hand. "Then it's official. I'm your doctor now." They both laughed. A quiet, happy laugh that melted the cold evening. From that day, things changed. They didn't rush into anything. They still worked side by side, saving lives, sharing coffee, and finding joy in small things. But there was love now, a soft, deep love that didn't need many words. Sometimes, during breaks, Ryan would bring her a flower from the hospital garden and say, "Doctor's order, smile." She would roll her eyes and say, "Nurse's order, eat your lunch first." They made each other better, stronger, happier, and more alive. Aisha's patients started saying, "You always smile these days, Nurse Khan." And she would just say, "I have a good doctor." One summer evening, after a long day, Ryan and Aisha walked to the riverside where they had confessed their feelings months ago. The sun was setting, and the sky was full of colors. Ryan said softly, "You know what I realized?" "What?" she asked. "Love is like medicine. It doesn't fix everything, but it makes life bearable again." Aisha smiled. "Then you're my best medicine, Dr. Cooper." He laughed. and you're the reason I never want to take a day off." They stood together, watching the sunset. Two healers, two hearts that had once been broken, now whole again. Not because life became perfect, but because they found someone who understood their pain. Aisha leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered, "When I said I needed a doctor, I didn't know it would be you." Ryan looked at her and said, "And when I said I wanted to save lives, I didn't know one of them would be mine." And a year later, Aisha and Ryan opened a small free clinic for people who couldn't afford treatment. They called it Healing Hands. Every morning, before they started their day, Aisha would say, "Ready, doctor?" And Ryan would reply, "Always, nurse." They were not just partners in work, they were partners in life. Their story was not about perfect love, but about healing, kindness, and the courage to open your heart again. Sometimes love doesn't come with flowers or grand promises. Sometimes it comes quietly in the form of a doctor who reminds you that your heart can heal too.